All right. Hi, everyone. Hope you can all see my screen. So welcome to Multimodal Weekly. This is a virtual webinar series hosted by the team at TwelveLabs. For those of you who are new, we are a startup focusing on building multimodal video understanding technologies. And this is an initiative that we've been running on a weekly basis over the past 3 years or so. Here are the topics that we like to cover. We have a good amount of researcher coming in and share their latest papers and research direction that they're pushing towards multimodal AI and foundation models. We also have founders and partners coming in and talk about how they build different multimodal application for different verticals. Community members from our Discord and broader the community sharing how to build with TwelveLabs platform and API, different projects that they've been working on. These are just some samples topics that we cover over the past month. So you can see there's a variety of different vertical use cases here, everything ranging from spot highlighting to educational interview to security use cases to like social media thumbnails understanding, right? So I think I'll go here just to want to demonstrate kind of the versatilities of what video AI can unlock and enable for various real world workflows, right? So for today's session, super excited to have two customer of TwelveLabs actually to present what they have been building using our technology. So first will be Anil Pal, who's currently the founder of Loopdesk, an AI video editor that edits what you direct. You can drop in raw video footage, tell Loopdesk that what you want in plain English, and get back a polished video with caption, cuts, and transition done for you. So I saw Anil product had launch, I think like a few months ago, which I think went very successful, and I think you already got a lot of like inbound customers. So yeah, super excited to hear about kind of the motivation, the architecture underneath, and what you want to move forward with Loopdesk. And then on the second half of the session, we'll have Vaibhav Garg and Dr. Anatasia Kim from AARI Care, which help you check emotion through voice analysis, complete mental health assessment, and stay connected with your provider. You can get personal recommendation and resources based on your progress, check appointment, and more. So these are very interesting use cases, at least for us, because healthcare is an entire new space. And so when I got connected with Vaibhav and Anastasia, and see kind of the usage of how models unlock for patient, I think this definitely guarantee more public exposure. So super excited to have you here and share more about the problem statement as well as how TwelveLabs help unlock mental health analysis. And yeah, for the attendees, you can send your question on the Zoom chat, and the speaker can answer them either async or interactively as they finish. So with that, I will stop sharing my screen, and then I'll let Anil, if you want to go ahead and share your screen and get started.
Sure, yeah. Thanks, James, for the introduction.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, hi, my name is Anil, and I've been building Loopdesk for almost a year and a half now. So the idea was that we are seeing a lot of content creators today, and then content creation is easy, but editing videos is hard. So that's when I got an idea to kind of automate the whole process of video creation. Not the generative AI part, but just the regular video editing part using AI, thinking in terms of workflows. So speaking to a lot of content creators, especially podcasters and those who create knowledge videos, I realized that they follow a certain podcast workflow, and it's pretty hard to kind of do it sometimes because it's a lot of work, takes them hours together to create video. So the idea was, why not use AI, kind of automate at least the 80% of the workflows, so they can just focus on the creativity part. So that's the whole idea of building Loopdesk. So it's about directing, not editing. You are just going to prompt, and sometimes even you could get suggestions from the AI as to what could be edited, and you could basically accept those or not. So it's almost like a cursor for video editing. Yeah, so that's Loopdesk, and our vision is to make video creation part easier, so you don't get bogged down on complex timelines. So we kind of also edit the timeline editing as well. So that's the introduction part, and so yeah, so if you are imagining trying to edit a podcast, you would have to think of not just the video you already got, which could be like 3 different cameras. The host camera could be the 2 presenters there. You get 3 different camera sources, sometimes a different audio source as well. Then it also add like music, the B-rolls, the graphics, and there's a lot of grunt work there to kind of not do all those things. And one of the workflows over there is getting the rough cut out. So once you have all these videos extracted, like how do you go and remove all those unwanted stuff, right? It could be like a dead air, it could be the awkward silences, or it could be just like and us. So it's basically a big time sink. People spend around 2 to 3 hours reading through the entire workflow and editing them. So that's the one of the issues. So Loopdesk provides an agentic workflow. It's an orchestration layer where we use 3 to 4 different LLMs depending on what they are good at. So today we're going to talk about specifically the 2 models of TwelveLabs. So how does this agentic workflow work? So you take a raw footage, you give it to Loopdesk. Loopdesk is going to basically look for all the highlight moments, filler, silent words removal, and then you could just do a one single click and say, I want all these things removed, and you get a rough cut there, right? So that's how we do it. So why was it not possible before? So before there were tools available which would do it based on transcripts. So you would just look at transcript and see if there is no sound or any audio coming in there. You could look at the waveforms and then edit those videos. But there could be instances in a podcast where there is certain moments, key moments where you are basically smiling at somebody, you are laughing, or it could be like some gesture which are trying to do in a podcast. So it's very hard to understand the visual. I would say like the thing happening on the video. So I think that's where this particular tool this particular model can help us do it. So that's the way it's been done. So initially started off with Google Gemini. It was doing pretty well when it was 1.52. It worked really well on small form videos, and this yeah. So it worked pretty well for short form videos, but there were it was not really accurate for the long form videos. So there was a precision gap. So when you're building a video editor, you need to have like extreme precisions over there. So when you're cutting a video, it has to be even like 3 decimal points on the seconds, right? So it's going to be like 999 seconds. So in that case, if you are losing half a second precision, that's a big loss. It can cut off a vowel. It could cut off like some sentences here and there. So and could also sound very robotic sometimes, right? So that's where the problem was, and I think we used Pegasus here, and Pegasus was really helpful in kind of getting out precision cuts for long form videos as well. And yeah, we also use Marengo recently. We just started off using Marengo as well. We are using Marengo for mainly actions, objects, lightning. When you shoot in a podcast studio, the lighting might not be really good, or it could be just their home, right? They may not be able to afford a podcast. In that case, how do we improve the lighting? Or it could be that they want to change some of their background colors. They want to maybe do some kind of remove add a green screen in the back and then try to add a different location altogether. So we use a different model for that for segmentation, and we also change podcast locations. So we will come to that maybe in the future, but we are still experimenting that part. And yeah, we use temporal understanding. We use Pegasus for visual intelligence. We use Marengo, and it's been doing good for us so far. And yeah, so we talked about TwelveLabs, what they offer. So So what does Loopdesk do here? So you might be wondering what is the role of Loopdesk here. It's all about handling the timeline. So we have built a pretty complex timeline where the creator need not really touch the timeline. It's all automated timeline. It can handle things. If we have a chat-based interface, we call it Aura. You could basically put in what you want there, and then we built a non-linear editor, NLP parser, which can convert those natural language to a frame exact edits. So as you type in there, and you see basically those the text getting converted to a video editing operation. And apart from that, yeah, we worked a bit on like UI performance, made sure that the UI is also pretty good for the usage. So spend some time, and then yeah, we have built a video editor now and focusing mostly so that creators can focus more on the story and not really worry about all the scrubbing part. Yeah, I'll be showing two demo highlights. So the first one is going to be a highlight moments detection. So I'm going to basically ask the video to basically give us all the highlight moments, and it will basically analyze all the audio tones, visual energy, and then give us a set of overlays on the timeline to show what's happening. It's perfect for podcast interviews, vlogs, live streams. So I'll be demoing this now, along with one more demo following that, which would be removing the silence part we just talked about. This would be like trying to get rid of the unwanted stuff. So let me jump to the video. So, take more time, so I'll just.
Oh, also, Anil, do you meant to share audio as well?
Okay, is there audio not? Okay, let
No.
me reshare.
Yeah, you have to share it. When you share via Zoom, you have to click the share sound button on the right side.
Oh, got it.
Yep.
Let's find some interesting moments in the video clip. Select the video clip and ask Aura to find key highlight moments. Now the Aura provides the highlight intervals. Select the option to View on Timeline to see where the key moments are occurring. Aura provides the virality score and the reason why it picked the particular segment. You can now move the interval if you want to add or remove a few frames from the Aura recommended interval, or simply accept and click Extract Highlight. Let's try to remove silences and filler words from a couple of video clips on the timeline. Choose the clip and ask Aura to remove all silences. Aura found 15 silent moments analyzing the audio, but analyzing visually, it was found that all those are required, so Aura suggested keeping them. Now let's try another clip. Aura found 26 silences, and Aura suggested removing all those segments as going by the description that are just dead air. You can view on timeline with the video clip shown with red markers to remove those segments. Press Remove 26 Silences, and Aura performs the edit operation to remove all those dead air segments from the video clip. Choose a video clip on the timeline.
So that's the part about the demo. Yeah, we have been also working with a couple of customers recently on the few other use cases, which is like placing podcast ads. So they want to know where exactly to place an ad on the podcast. So we've been using this TwelveLabs models there. I think Marengo has been, both Marengo and Pegasus are being used here, still in work in progress. And we also trying to provide them the slots where they can place their ads on the, because most of these podcasters make money out of third-party ads, which don't come from the YouTube platform. So that's one of the things we are working on currently on that. Apart from that, this was one of the interesting case we just worked on about. So one of our customer wanted to have. They got close to 5,000 job applicants for a job application, and then they wanted to interview everyone over there. So they had a session where the same question was asked to a bunch of people, and then they wanted to now review it manually, which basically meant they wanted the question and all the answers to the question placed next to each other. So basically, it meant that you take all the videos and then take question number one, and then the response for question number one given by every interviewer, a candidate, in which case you get a sequence called a supercut, and then you basically provide them for every question as a one video file, so they could actually see who actually was able to answer and then grade them based on that. This is one of the things we currently worked on, and then this was not possible before, because if you want to handle all these videos, it's going to take a lot of time, like hours. Now it could do it in like few seconds, because you're already like kind of created those indexes there, and then you're trying to use them. So it's much faster, and one of our customers is currently using this part. So we are very impressed with the precision which Pegasus provides, as well as the search capabilities of Marengo to basically go and search those exact keywords, especially in this case of finding supercuts. And it's been very helpful for us. And we are live on Loopdesk. We just launched last month, like James said, on the product front. We currently have a decent amount of users, but we're trying to get more and more use cases to understand where we can improve our product. So, and this is our web page. So basically show how we want to do it. So if you were to see the animation over here, when you kind of upload a video, it's going to analyze the video content, and we want to make it fully automated going forward, so that there's no need to prompt it. This is something which nobody has done so far. So you could see that it's basically it's going to detect various things, what format it wants. It's trying to basically look for a podcast video. It's trying to sync the mic to a camera footage. It's trying to detect the speakers and switch cameras based on which camera they need to focus on. Removing those silences part, or it could be the next, like building an episode. How do you want to place the episode, and opening a discussion and the outro, and generating the captions. You can generate in 57 languages right now. We support TwelveLabs as well as Google over there, and then you can also create an audio only podcast version. So this is one workflow for podcasts. So if you were to basically provide some other video, for example, now I think this is a talking head video of morning thoughts, right? Somebody talks about that. It has a different workflow for this. It has its separate workflow. So the Loopdesk agentic layer can map your workflows based on what the video type is. So in this case, it's going to do a slightly different things over here. So that's the part we are trying to do. If you have any questions, happy to answer.
Sorry, I was muted. Awesome. Thanks, Anil. I think there's a few questions on the chat. There's a few comments from Vaibhav, and then there's a question from Wahid on the chat. You're just going to take a look at the messages and just answer them.
Sure.
On Zoom, yeah.
How do you segment? Are you using all those? For segmentation, we're using the Meta SAM 3.1. It's a new model which was launched just 2 weeks back. We are self-hosting it, and then we use Remotion to remove the green screen and then change the background based on the user. It's very similar to how it's currently being worked out here. It's removing the background, so the same way we are doing it for the videos as well. So the answer is Meta. We also use Matt Anyone too. It's one of the models from, from student, basically from college. So they have built a segmentation model. So we are currently using both Matt Anyone, and as well as SAM 3.1. The company name is Loopdesk.ai. It's the company name. I'm a solo founder, so I'm just building it alone. So it's been, it's a one-person company. So thank you.
Very cool. Very cool. Any other question that you might have for Anil? I guess, one question for
Thank you.
me. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
actually, go ahead.
you're saying something?
Yes, yes. Question from me. Yeah, talk about that. Like being a solo father, like how did you prioritize building? Like, um, you know, how do you think about just like using? I'm sure you're probably using a lot of AI, right, to build the entire tech stack for
True.
Loopdesk.
Yeah.
So, can you share like lesson learned, best practices from that journey, building, this entire product as a solo founder? Yeah.
Yeah, I just took it one piece at a time. Built a basic video editor, had it running. I started off with Remotion. So Remotion provides a very basic editor. Trying to build on top of that, added a chatbot, and then built an orchestration layer. So been using AI heavily. I use both Claude and OpenAI GPT for all my coding part of things. I write very specific product requirements as to what I'm expecting. I also have like a test agent which makes sure that it's been reviewed really well, the code. We have a bunch of agents reviewing my code and then providing feedback on that, and they kind of work together along. So I kind of make sure when one agent writes code, I have a couple of agents reviewing that, pretty much similar to how it works in a tech company, right? So and been building that, and and also been able to get some free credits from Gemini and TwelveLabs to build this. So it's been very helpful. Uh, and Trying to have more and more models going forward and see how that goes. Uh, yeah.
What has been the biggest challenge, just like trying to navigating the product development?
Yeah, it's a challenge has been with so many components going on there, right? So trying to understand how to manage various states, understanding like building onto the orchestration layer, which model to pick when, and all those things, right? There's a pretty tricky part. And it's been that, and also this transcoding part, right? For example, Gemini requires the videos to be on GCP, and TwelveLabs requires your videos to be on S3. If you don't have it on S3, you can't do anything. So we had a process where every time somebody asks to do something with TwelveLabs, we need to basically download the video and upload it again to S3, and then run those transcoding, because it expects certain transcoding to be done on those S3 before uploading. If you don't transcode it to that particular format, what the Pegasus wants, you cannot do analysis. It just fails, saying invocation error on S3. So this kept me up for a couple of days, wondering like what's happening, right? So unless Claude was able to do a lot of searching on topic, and then it found some GitHub repo where they were saying this is how it has to be done, and then it was able to figure out itself. Otherwise, those was a tricky part, right? So now we have more models coming in, and they might say we are going to keep this on. Our storage is going to be maybe some Azure or something else. Like how do we run this analysis, right? So we need a common storage, like not GCP. I mean, not Google Cloud Storage, nor S3. Just one format where you can dump everything in one place and then run an analysis. That is going to make life more easier, I guess. So I'm hoping that there is something coming there, or
Yeah,
otherwise I will have to upload the same video to everywhere, and then
yeah,
basically keep 3 copies of it, right? So it's pretty hard. So that's been one of the hard part right now.
yeah. For sure. I think like we definitely want to expand our data connectors, ingestion endpoint to accept more environment where customer data is already exists. Starting out with S3 because it tended to be the most common one, but we have conversation in the past about GCP, but also like Azure, right, the three cloud, and also even like that we have customer who have videos in like Dropbox or like Google Drive or like Box, right? So for the use cases, I think they will need very specific connectors to plug in there.
Yeah, we have customers who basically have the videos on Google Drive and Dropbox. So our first workflow is we have built a connector right now, which basically
Mhm.
downloads from their personal drive and then posts it again back on Google Cloud, and then we take the Google Cloud copy to S3 because we want so many things happening, right? So we are uploading and downloading like a bunch of places. The same video is in like 5 places now. So I think building those connectors is going to be very, very helpful.
Awesome. All right. I think that's the first half of the session. Thanks again, Anil. Appreciate your walkthrough of Loopdesk and kind of a very clear explanation of how Margo and Pegasus help support various capabilities within the that agentic workflow. And very excited to see the growth of the company and how 12Labs would love to help support you in any way to make sure that Loopdesk got a lot of user growth, etc. Yeah, so let's pass this to Vaibhav and Anatasia for the second part of the session. If you want to start sharing the screen. Yep.
I think it's visible.
Yes, I can see your Zoom link.
All right, cool. So go here. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm just going to minimize this, get that out of the way. Hi, everyone. My name is Vaibhav Garg. I'm the founder of AARI. I am in San Francisco, and for the last 16 years, I've been working in tech, most recently as an architect at Salesforce, and now I'm focusing full-time on AARI. And along with me here, I have my co-founder, Anatasia, and we'll go over another round of intros. But at a high level, what we are doing is building an end-to-end mental health ecosystem. This is meant to serve the entire population that deals with mental health, which includes people receiving therapy, people providing therapy, the administrators involved in the loop, and also the supervisors. So most people, when they hear about therapy, they only think of two people. They think of a client receiving therapy and a therapist providing therapy. But there are more players in the ecosystem, and during the course of this presentation, we'll highlight some of the challenges that they face and how our solution comes in there. Our primary focus has been around building the video intelligence layer within our platform, so that everyone who is engaged with each other in a virtual way, especially after COVID, where teletherapy and virtual therapy became almost a standard for care delivery. We want to inject intelligence into that layer. I'll quickly hand it off to Anatasia for an introduction, and then we'll deep dive into this.
Thanks, Vaibhav. Hello, everyone. Wonderful to be here. Thanks to 12Labs and James for the invitation. I'm Anatasia Kim. I am a clinical psychologist, and I've been working with patients for almost 30 years now. And for the last 22 years, I've been working in higher education as a professor, teaching, training, supervising doctoral students in clinical psych. And as AI and tech has really been encroaching and began to play a bigger role in behavioral health, I found myself very interested in how to help shape and lead in this space. So I wanted to really draw on my many years of experience in clinical care, training, and supervision, and have always been very deeply interested and care about efficiency, scale, and access, which is what led me to start working with Vaibhav a year ago. And just given everything that I've seen over the last few decades, and certainly in the last few years in the behavioral health space, I am so convinced that while there are real and valid concerns about AI, there's also enormous and tremendous potential that's going to fundamentally change behavioral health space in terms of how we train clinicians, how we support therapists and providers, and ultimately how we deliver care across the entire ecosystem. So very excited to be here and to share a little bit of what we've been working on and how we've integrated 12Labs.
Cool. All right. So what is AARI? AARI is that intelligence layer that sits in between the therapist and the client. It sits between the supervisor and the therapist. So let me describe that situation a little bit. So most people, hop onto a Zoom call or a Google Meet when they're going through a therapy session. So in many scenarios, due to privacy, compliance, and many other reasons, people often don't record those meetings, or they don't even enable note takers, etc., which is fine. But then there is a growing population of people who is more interested in getting deeper insights into the conversations and what went on. And that's where the need for analyzing that data comes in. You can get a whole dump of transcripts and meeting notes, etc. But what do you do with that? Like, that information just sits somewhere. Nobody visits that. It's attached to your calendar invite, your emails, but nobody goes back to look at it. What we are doing here at AARI is making that information actionable and combining it with other forms of information that we are recording in the system to make it more meaningful, whether it is to provide feedback, or it is to provide continuous care, or it is just to draw insights about how the care is evolving over time. We do it in 3 phases. The first phase is capture, which is, of course, the mode of interaction. Now, this could be a phone conversation. This could be a text message conversation. This could be a live video conversation. So all of these ways in which people interact with each other, especially in the context of therapy and care, we capture all of that information. One form of it is, I think, like the previous speaker mentioned, people have their meeting recordings stored in Google Drive. From there, we upload it into our secure storage. From there, we put it into AI models. So, there are a bunch of loops that we jump through. But at the end of it, once our data is available in one place, we then seek to understand what's going on. We do that in 2 stages. One is we apply our proprietary custom models on top of it to draw insights from the past information, other trends, the notes and treatment plans, etc., that have been created by an organization. And then the third step that we take is to act on that data. Like, what do you do with this information? The what, why, and how are always important, but making this wealth of information, especially in this age of AI, to make it actionable, that is something that we are leveraging the power of TwelveLabs and their models to surface those insights up so that we can make them actionable as our product. There are multiple use cases that we are serving right now. Like I mentioned, we are an end-to-end mental health platform. So there are different parts of our platform that are used by different people, depending on what they're trying to do. So if a therapist is engaging with their client, they use the video analysis and the multimodal capabilities a certain way. Whereas if a supervisor who is overseeing all of these operations, they are engaging in feedback sessions, etc., they are using it in a different way. And then once all of this data is available over a period of time, the organizational directors and administrators and people who basically run it as a business, they use this information to seek compliance related information that may have come out. As an example, hey, was there any inappropriate use of language in any feedback session? Or was there any argument or things of that nature which are relevant for an organization from a compliance and workforce standpoint. So we are using the video analysis pieces in multiple ways there. Anatasia?
Yeah, so there's multiple use cases in terms of TwelveLabs for AARI, but we want to double click on the supervision part. Let me, not sure how folks are, if folks are familiar with the behavioral health space. So let me just briefly highlight the core problem with how supervision is conducted today in behavioral health. We have a system where supervisors like myself, we are legally and ethically responsible for clinical care that's delivered by associates, unlicensed trainees, but we have almost no visibility into what is actually happening in session because we're not there. And so that's the fundamental misalignment. And in reality, supervisors like myself, I can't watch all the full sessions that my trainees and associates have, definitely not at scale. And it's also too time sensitive. So instead supervision really relies on these silos and fragments, brief clips or summaries that associates bring in. And those fragments, of course, are inherently biased. My own associates tend to bring in either their very best moments with the client or the most difficult, but neither of them are, as you can imagine, representative of the actual session and certainly sessions across time. So what gets lost is everything and everything in between, the subtle clinical decisions, missed opportunities, relational dynamics, and the moments of attunement, misattunement, which are really, really essential to efficacious treatment that define really the quality of care. So supervision becomes ultimately incomplete. It's a set of curated data that gets brought to me, and I'm ethically and legally responsible. And that creates a second problem. We lose visibility into process. So we're not really seeing how therapists are structuring sessions, how they respond to the moment to moment, how patterns evolve over time. And instead, we're reacting in these isolated moments. And that makes it very, very, very difficult to give precise and developmentally targeted feedback. And so this also results in training becoming very inefficient. Feedback is delayed, it's partial, it's often based on associates' memory rather than actual direct observation. And supervisors like me, we can't reliably identify patterns. Associates don't get consistent, actionable guidance, as Vaibhav mentioned earlier. And then, of course, blind spots abound and they persist. And at the same time, the quality control is also very inconsistent. So there's no scalable way to monitor whether evidence-based practices are actually being followed or whether my clinicians are drifting over time. So documentation doesn't solve this. Clinical notes are retrospective and they're filtered, and they're not really reliable proxies for what actually happened in the room. So ultimately, taken together, what does all this mean in terms of cost to training and care? So clinically, it increases risks, and we are in a very sensitive sector and the work that we do. There's errors, misattunements, or even ethical issues that can actually go undetected. And so this could be a life or death issue. And from a training standpoint, it really slows skills development. It could lead to a wider variability in clinical competence. And then ultimately, from an organizational or admin perspective, it's inefficient. It's highly trained supervisors, such as myself, are making high risk decisions based on very low fidelity data. And so, most importantly, for clients, ultimately, this results in inconsistent care quality. And depending not just on the therapist, but on the limitations that supervisors such as myself are not able to see. So, at the core, the system is really broken. It combines high accountability with low visibility and no scalable way to bridge that gap. And that's exactly what we're trying to solve here with AARI and how we are integrating 12Labs and the process to do so.
And the way this happens from start to finish is imagine a virtual session starts, with consent, if people have started the recording of that meeting, the session ends. The meeting recording gets stored. We get a signal in our app that, hey, the meeting has ended. The recording is available and ready. Then we direct our application to go fetch that video. We connect to 12Labs. We use the Pegasus model to do a bunch of analysis on top of it, and we'll go through it in the demo as well. And then once that information is available, on top of that is then we do the next round of analysis and presenting it to the user. The way we are using 12Labs today is one, for semantic video search. Like Anatasia mentioned, in today's workflow, people have to go through hours worth of video as a supervisor to understand, okay, what was the thing that was talked about that I wasn't even present or part of? So I have no idea how much to skip forward or back, but I can have a few questions in mind. So that's where the Marengo model is used for the semantic search. Then the multimodal summaries, where you combine the data from couple of different models, including 12Labs, to do the video AI analysis, the voice AI analysis, and the text AI analysis based on the transcript of the meeting. And we summarize and combine that information in one place. With the hope that as soon as the video session or the meeting gets over, we are able to highlight relevant signals to the relevant parties, and then they can actually take an action within the constraints of our app to make it more effective. With that, I'll conclude the presentation, but I'll jump over to the demo, and let's show a live version of how we are using this. So here I'm logged into the AARI platform. This is a test environment where this is what a supervisor would see. They would see their upcoming video sessions that they have scheduled with their trainees. They have an activity feed going on. They have some safety alerts that have been highlighted from the previous versions. And here is a video session recording of a previous session. So the way we have integrated with 12Labs here is that as a supervisor, now I don't need to go in digging to find, hey, what was the meeting that happened 3 weeks ago, which, after that, I went on a vacation and then came back. I have no recollection of what was discussed. But because all of this information is stored in the system, I can quickly see the summary of what was discussed using Pegasus. Again, we divide it into chapters so that we can get to the most relevant part of the discussion. Maybe everything that was discussed in that particular meeting was not relevant. So it gives you a quick way to get in, directly jump into that particular session. And also we divide it into highlights, and we are also working on lowlights to identify patterns and moments which are most relevant in that entire conversation so that you don't have to go through the whole thing. The way we are leveraging the semantic search of the models is to then go in and say that, hey, what were the action items that were discussed? What were ethical concerns? The way this works is organizations have a very fixed pattern of how they want to provide feedback or what are the key things that they want to consider. So we are incorporating those and making it available for organizations to customize and say that, hey, were the clinical techniques that we are using, were those leveraged or not? And we get an answer of that. And of course, it supports real-time question answer like, hey, was documentation discussed? So this might be a question that I might have had, but I don't know where or when was it discussed in the meeting. So we think that using 12Labs, it really opens up that opportunity for us to really surface much more information that was previously available. And when we have enough data over time, we are aggregating that to then sort of create a progress tracker for the particular trainee so that we can synthesize that information and identify what are the areas that need improvement. This information is particularly important, especially in academic and training settings, because feedback is a big part of how one's progression goes. And even for regular people who are receiving therapy, people are becoming more and more data-centric. They want to see charts and graphs about what is the progress, how am I improving over time? So putting all this information together gives us a good opportunity to present it to our existing customer base and even the clients that they are seeing. So overall, this is how we are leveraging 12Labs to provide video analysis capabilities on top of our platform and make it available in the larger ecosystem that we are trying to serve with our platform, AARI. Yeah. With that, that's the demo that we have, and we're open for any questions anybody might have or anything to share.
Awesome. Thanks again for the slide information as well as the quick walkthrough of the platform. Yeah, for the audience, if you have any question for Vaibhav and Anatasia, feel free to unmute and put in the chat as well. Maybe just get started from my end is, what are Oh, actually, there's a question from Wahid. Do you want to answer it? You see the Zoom message?
Yeah, curious what happens if a user suicide. So the whole premise of this is not a substitute for a human. So whichever meeting form you are in, you are with an experienced professional who is anyway liable or responsible for your interaction with them, whether or not you're using video analysis. Even if you're meeting with somebody in person, and Anastasia could add more to it, the process remains the same. If the video analysis reveals that there is something, we do flag it, and that information is recorded in the system and prompted to the supervisor or the therapist in charge to take appropriate action based on their training.
Yeah, and to the question about what happens if a user shows suicidal ideations mid-session, what's the process from there? Of course, there's a whole process based on professional standards of what happens when a client communicates any suicidal ideation. The problem that often is very challenging is then me as a supervisor overseeing an associate's care is dependent on what they are saying versus my ability to then rely on actual communication and transaction that transpired in the session. Because just talking about suicidal ideation in and of itself is not a reportable situation. You have to understand the context and the nuance and the degree to which somebody has communicated a potential threat to their own life. And as you can imagine, an associate's ability to be able to discern that is a little less than a professional. And so for me to be able to go back and to be able to go to that particular moment in mid-session when that was disclosed, I mean, it could transform the way that a student is able to learn and train, and ultimately to be able to provide the kind of care. Because you don't want to preemptively, without sort of the nuance of experience, make a report that could compromise the therapeutic alliance in a way that it would compromise the care. But you also don't want to not provide the emergency support that a patient needs. And so this has potential to really be a game changer because I'm not relying on my associates' memory, their interpretations. I can go directly to the source data for both training and to be able to provide the care that the patient needs.
Great. You want to share some like just early stories of like users, like how the user using AARI has been like, and any learnings from building the platform to make sure that it.
Yeah, for sure. I can share a relevant one with respect to TwelveLabs. So we're working with a customer. They support a clinic which sees hundreds of patients, and we're actively working with them to support multi-language analysis. So they are opening up their clinic to Mandarin speaking population. Currently, we only do the video analysis and all of that in English. But now we are going to expand this for different languages so that it removes that additional barrier of what the matching of, a supervisor to a therapist might be. And we are trying to open that up. So that has been super interesting. When people saw our workflow with English, they started thinking of, expanding their own practice to incorporate other languages, because now they could see the possibility of, multiplying their resources and providing the level of care and support. So that has been a promising signal in terms of it. Another example from our customer, which is seeing thousands of clients right now, is not everyone, but a majority of the population is young adults and an age demographic which is very data savvy. So they don't just need words, they want to see things for themselves. So there has been an increasing demand for us to present data based on sessions. They are okay to video record, and they're okay to do those things, which has been a shift really from a few years ago, where people were very hesitant about, hey, note takers joining meetings and video meetings being recorded. But with Zoom and Google Meet, etc., making it so commonplace that meetings are recorded, transcribed, etc., people's comfort level has also opened up, and that then opens up the possibility to provide this additional data layer to them, which was not possible earlier. And what better than a video mode to analyze signals which are non-verbal, and provide that as stats to people.
And I would only add, in addition to that, is we've been very intentional about developing a research agenda with our customers and partners. This is an area that is emerging and quickly unfolding with the velocity that's very difficult to keep up in terms of best practices. And it's a regulated sort of space. And so as people are using it, we're also partnering with academic training sites who are also sort of using it in clinics, including my own, to develop a very robust research agenda. To think about like the multiple ways that capabilities such as TwelveLabs is affording, that has implications not only to care delivery and the quality of care to patients, but also training and how supervision is conducted. So when I said earlier about the potential for this to transform, I've been in this space for 30 years, and this is going to be a game changer. So I'm really excited about not just deployment to our commercial clients, and also the training clinics, but also the contribution to the research that's much needed in this space.
For sure. I guess, we have about 3 or 4 minutes left. Maybe we talk about like the future and what are the upcoming capabilities that you think AARI could love to build and benefit from. So maybe at the high level, just based on some existing conversation with other users, like what are the other things on the roadmap that AARI want to build, plan out, and um, and how do you think those will be adopted, right, by users for what needs?
Yeah. Along those lines, I'd like to echo what Anil had mentioned as well in terms of data movement and connectivity. So while in our case it was relatively straightforward, like we didn't have too many different data sources to move data around from, but it would be really amazing if there were native connectors to things like Zoom or Google Meet or the common video platforms. Because one thing that we've been getting from customers is to sort of see live video analysis as well. Like as the meeting is going on, can they see some sort of mood analysis and facial analysis and things like that? It is a very, very niche use case still. It's very distracting for a lot of people. So we haven't had too much momentum behind it, but just preemptively thinking about how we would do it if we were to. I think we would definitely need some real-time connectors and streaming capabilities to hook into systems and stream that information real time.
Yeah, I think that live streaming. Let's see. I'll answer that question real quick, and then I guess you can answer Wahid question. But TwelveLabs, we actually have a live indexing capabilities coming up in maybe Q3 or maybe late and a Q2, because this is actually a very common request, especially from the entertainment world, live sport, live game footage, etc. But also on like security. So we do work with customer in commercial security, where there's obviously footage being captured in real time across camera. So the ability to ingest those stream directly to our platform and do indexing very fast is obviously a very important capabilities that we want to make sure that our platform can handle. So yeah, short answer is you can stay tuned for that feature is coming up soon.
Cool.
Yep. So there's two more questions. Vaibhav and Anastasia, you want to quickly go through them before we close out?
Yeah, I'll let Anastasia take the first question. Very quickly answering the second question, Anil. I think there is a lot of movement in that space. Fundamentally, as a product and as a company, our focus is more on the operating system and infrastructure side of the care delivery rather than being a health app companion. We do see a lot of them popping up, but it is not in our current product philosophy. We do not in any way intend to replace the human in the care delivery process.
Yeah, and to the first question, I think the same thing applies. The regulation in behavioral health space is trying to keep up with the ridiculous velocity of builders and products that are coming into my space and industry, and so it is. It's a very interesting space and sort of time right now. That said, I think what we're building is, and the best practices right now is keeping the expert and human in the loop, centering the human expert, centering the human patient. And so we do have an app, a companion app, but it's under the guise and supervision of the human expert in this space. And we've also put in a lot of guardrails and limitations so that it doesn't go rogue, both for the clinical expert as well as the patient that is in the loop in our system. And so we wanted to make sure that we are aligning with best practices and the guidelines as set forth by the American Psychological Association, the American Counseling Association, so that it doesn't just go out in the open, but that it is actually contained and constrained by best practices. And that ultimately the AI capability is redirected to the human to human connection and that relationship.
Awesome. Great. Thanks, Anastasia. I think that's a great way to end our webinar. Yeah, no, super excited for this engagement with AARI, and I think we like from a 12-up perspective, I think we this is like very new use cases that we try to get into. So obviously the base model have not been trained on healthcare data at all because sensitive data, regulated industry, right? So I think one of the things on our roadmap, like for later in the year, but also like for futures, is actually working with data providers, like from hospital and administration, clinical organization to like collect this sort of data, obviously like permissible from the patient, of course, to use them, right, to improve capabilities of Maragon basis so that it can like better serve that ICP, right, for us. But I think like success like this one with AARI, I think will open up a lot of doors for those conversations, right? Because now people can actually see the benefit and then get excited for future, which is, as how like a startup grow, right? You need to have these quick wins to validate, land and expand in the future. Yeah. Yeah, so that's all I have. Thanks again for Anil for presenting Loopdesk, as well as Vaibhav and Anastasia for presenting AARI. Thanks again all the attendees for asking very detailed and insightful questions. Yeah, the webinar recording should be available on YouTube at some point by early next week. So be sure to share that with the speaker so you can use that for marketing. And yeah, again, Multimodal Weekly, we run it on a weekly basis. So every Friday we'll have like a different set of speakers. So if you find this content informative, could love to see you in the future. Thanks everyone, and hope you have a good
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye.